Hey guys, Filmsuit here. So, given the fact that it's hot as hell right now, I'm sure you could forgive me for not wearing a shirt and tie to go with my corduroy jacket. Anyway, so last Friday I saw The Bourne Legacy. I have to say, pretty solid action movie. Yeah. The premise is it's a fourth installment in the Bourne franchise, even though it's not focused on Jason Bourne. It's mainly it's kind of a spin-off, more actually, than an actual sequel. It focuses on a man named Aaron Cross, who's a part of this program called Operation Outcome, which is a super soldier program that involves these pills. Like there's a set of blue that you take to enhance your physical attributes, and then you take green to enhance your mental attributes. So like intelligence, awareness, etc. And however, after Jason Bourne exposes Treadstone and everything that happened to them, the CIA becomes desperate and they recruit two retired operatives, one who's played by Edward Norton in a really good role, and the other is played by Stacy Keach, the dad from that old TV show Titus. And I could go on describing what roles he's been in, but chances are you either know who Stacy Keach is or you don't know who he is. But yeah, and so Jeremy Renner as Aaron Cross, he's a solid action hero in this movie. The fight scenes are very well done. The shootouts are cool. But I have to say, the part that intrigued me the most about Aaron Cross was the survival that he goes through in the first half hour of the movie where he's training in Alaska. And this involves being pursued by a pack of wolves. It involves being pursued by a predator drone. It involves, just having to basically, like I said, survive the wilderness. And the way he does so and the way that it's written and shot, it's brilliant. Like, honestly, I enjoyed the movie overall, but I felt like I would have enjoyed it more if it was a straight up survival action movie set in the Alaskan wilderness for the whole 2 hours. That would actually be pretty solid. And since the movie is more of its own movie, and just more of a spin-off of the Bourne movies, I honestly don't think that they needed the name Bourne at all in the title. It could have just been called Legacy, even though that would have probably been a crappy reference to that old wrestling team in WWE, if you guys watch that. But yeah, like I said, it's a good movie, and it definitely improved over Supremacy and Ultimatum in terms of cinematography, because I don't know about you guys, but I really hate that shaky cinematography where the camera's just like does that over and over again to where you could barely see what's going on, gives you a headache. I can't stand that in movies, especially when it's an overkill like Bourne Supremacy and Bourne Ultimatum, or any of Paul Greengrass's movies for that matter. But since there's a new director, Tony Gilroy of this one, who also directed Michael Clayton, he keeps the camera in focus, and he does a really good job with camera angles. In fact, the way he shoots a rooftop chase scene in Asia, where Jeremy Renner chases after these cops who are chasing Rachel Weisz's character, and that whole scene reminded me of a level in Uncharted in those video games. And yeah, and then there's I have to say, this movie had some pretty intense and disturbing sequences in it, particularly one where one of Rachel Weisz's colleagues, where he's brainwashed by Operation Outcome, and he's basically forced to go on a killing spree and kills everyone in Rachel Weisz's office. That scene, it felt like a horror movie, and I give Gilroy props for making it the most intense scene out of the entire Bourne series. Now, fight scenes, they aren't really as cool or inventive as the ones in the first three movies, especially the one in Ultimatum where Matt Damon kills a guy with a book. But I mean, they're still solid. Jeremy Renner can do action sequences pretty well. Oh, and the motorcycle chase scene. That was probably one of the coolest vehicle chases I've seen all year. Like, honestly, even though this movie, I'm not going to compare this movie to The Dark Knight Rises. I'm just comparing the sequence to it, where all all the motorcycle scenes, or the whole Batpod chase scene in The Dark Knight Rises. If you guys saw that, I wasn't really that impressed with it. I felt like it didn't quite live up to the expectations of the Batpod in The Dark Knight, but to me, this motorcycle chase scene where Jeremy Renner and Rachel Weisz are chased after a super soldier who's also on a motorcycle, the way that scene was shot and the way just all the stunts performed, that is what the Batpod chase scene in The Dark Knight Rises should have been. And all in all, it was a pretty good movie. Did a good job connecting events to the first three movies. And honestly, I wasn't really a fan of the first three movies. And I mean, they were good, but they weren't great. And this one, it improves on, like I said, it's an improvement on certain things. Like, I think that this movie had a better cast than the other three. It had better chase scenes than the other three, including, like I said, probably the best chase scene of the year, and better cinematography than the other three, but didn't quite have enough to really, like I said, I felt like it should have really just been its own movie and not been part of the Bourne franchise. I mean, it would have still been at risk of, being called a Bourne ripoff, but who cares? It was a good movie. And yeah, that's really all I could say about it. I mean, I still recommend everyone see this movie, even the fans of the original who are so skeptical they won't go see this movie. Thanks to you guys, this movie is now flopping in the theaters. Anyway, yeah, I give it a solid 3.5 out of 5, which is equivalent to a B. And yeah, that's a fair grade. Anyway, tune in the next few minutes for the campaign.